Much of what you will see in this video appears dangerous. It is. If your parents insist on watching your copy of PowerTrack, please remind them not to try driving like this, especially if you're in the car.
Drops for the last 2 laps of the race. And the rookie and the champ dice through the backstretch.
Hi, I'm Jeff Moore. I'm a professional race car driver, and this is where I work. Today we're going to teach you how the cars are built and what goes on during a race. This is the race shop for number 55. Here's where they build and repair the race cars. They say if you know how to do it, you can build a race car out of all this metal. They use these metal tubes to help build the frame. These big sheets of metal are used to build a body. If this is what it takes to build a car, then here's what it takes to maintain it. You got all the tools you ever needed. The creepers here on the end, fire extinguisher just in case. You got wheels so it's portable in and out of the trailer and down the pit row. Here's my favorite part, all these neat tools. Look at that, just like a dentist. Got your sockets. Here we go, big sockets. Some specialty tools for changing spark plugs and so on. Lots of wrenches. I got the little ones in this one. Getting down to my favorite part, big wrenches. The size of that one. The tool I use the most, of course, hammer. And when you really need some power, you have your power tools. When you go to build a race car, you want to start with a flat table called a surface plate. When you have your frame, then you start putting it together. This is where the engine goes and the transmission.
Jump on the back. Jump on you.
As we walk around, we can see it's very low to the ground, a lot lower than your street car. This is the roll cage, protects the driver in case of an accident, and you can see it's made of steel tubing. As we walk around to the back where the gas tank, or what we call the fuel cell, goes, you can see it's also protected by that tubing. There's lots more, but if you watch races, you'll see how the car protects the driver. Usually we can just walk away from really scary wrecks. This is what a fuel cell looks like. It holds 22 gallons of gas. When it's in the car, it's mounted with this cage. Here's where they put the gas in, and this tube is called an overflow for extra gas to come out.
To be desired, but it'll be okay. What kind of paint scheme is this?
During a race, there's lots of bumping and banging. Well, this is where they take out the dents and do all the body work, here in the body shop for number 55. The racing team works 7 days a week and very long hours. They don't have time to run out and buy parts, so they have a lot of stuff in stock. Everything they don't have, they'll make. Now that we've built the car, we'll see where we build the engines. All the engines are hand-built, and we start with an engine block. And a more complete engine with pistons, an oil pan, and over here, the completed engine. When the car and the engine are complete, they put the two together. This is the spring for the front of the car. It's very thick to help support the engine weight. It goes right here. Next to it's the shock absorber. Together they work to help cushion the ride. Back here, we have the rear spring. You can see it's a little bit smaller because there's not as much weight. It goes right there. This race car is a Ford Thunderbird. To make sure the shape is the same as your family car, they use this template to check it. This is where they get the stock and stock car. On the outside, a race car and your family car may look alike. Your parents' car may have carpet, radio, doors, soft front and back seats, and a license plate. Everything you need for a Sunday afternoon drive. But there's a lot of stuff here racers don't need. No floor mats, no brake lights, no hubcap, no cassette player. We don't need a horn. We just nudge it. The shape of the car is the only thing that's the same as your family car. When you're going over 180 miles an hour, you need some safety features. These hood pins help keep the hood down. These rails hold the windshield in. This air scoop keeps the driver cool. There's a safety net for the driver. And this is called a spoiler. It helps hold the car down in the turns. A racing car is a little different than your average street car. The steering wheel is removable for safety reasons and ease of getting in and out. On the steering wheel, it has a button for the radio. It's a two-way radio similar to a walkie-talkie. Over here on the dash, we have what we call a warning light, oil pressure gauge, a tachometer, a water temperature gauge, an oil temperature gauge, and a fuel pressure gauge to let you know when you're running low on fuel. We also have some switches for starting the car. Unlike your street car, it does not have the speedometer, and I think that's to keep the drivers from scaring themselves. Here we have a release for the onboard fire system or fire extinguisher, the roll bar padding, and of course a form-fitted seat which is made for each individual driver, as well as safety seatbelt harnesses. A stock racing car is actually built from the tires up by hand. And if you think it cost a lot, you're right. This car is worth about $100,000. How much is that? Well, if you ate a pizza for every meal for every day for more than 20 years, you'd spend about $100,000. One of the newest things in racing is weight training, not only for the driver, but the pit crew as well. You not only want to be strong, but very quick. A racing tire and a street tire are a lot alike. They're both round and black, but that's where the likeness ends. As you can see, a racing tire is very slick and a street tire has grooves in it. A racing tire will last only 100 miles, a street tire will last up to 40,000 miles.
So now you're ready to go racing, or almost. You need racing shoes, a fire retardant suit, gloves, and a helmet.
The helmet is lightweight and strong and has a two-way radio built in so you can talk to the crew.
What do astronauts and race car drivers have in common? Yes, they both go really fast, but the other thing is their suits. Some drivers use a cool suit in hot weather. This was developed by NASA for the astronauts.
This is the team's tractor trailer. It's used to transport the race car and the spare parts to and from the racetrack. It's also used as a home base for the driver and his team when they're at the track. Let's go on inside and we'll see something few fans get to see. The transporter serves many purposes. You can carry 2 cars here upstairs. It also has a kitchen, lots of room for spare parts, nuts and bolts bins, more spare suspension, transmission parts, a workbench, and enough storage for 3 complete engines. Up here is what we call the lounge area. This is very nice because it's a good way for everyone to get away from the track, have a little lunch break, and get out of the heat. It also has a complete entertainment center. What's nice about it is you can tape your competition and review it to see where you can pick up a little bit of time on the track.
When race day arrives and all the teams bring their cars and trucks, it looks like a small town. And all the drivers want to see who's the fastest on the track.
Here's where I work. This track is my office, this car is my desk. This is the garage area at the racetrack. This is where they do the fine tuning on the car, getting them ready for the race. On your mom and dad's car, they won't change tires but every 2 or 3 years. In a 500-mile race, they'll change them over 8 times. Just like on your bicycle, air pressure is very important. These guys make sure that the tire pressure is proper. During a race, the cars do need to be refueled. These are called dump cans. They hold 11 gallons of fuel each, and they can get it out in under 10 seconds. Each race, all the cars go through a safety inspection. They also check for the weight and balance of the car.
Hey, did you take care of that? No, it was C-Ray right there on the end. Green double.
Back a half. Back a half. Easy, easy. Watch this game. Watch the game. Put your head under the boat.
Driver's not alone out there. He's got a whole crew behind him, and all of them have a very important job. Most cars change tires on one side or on both. The jackman jacks the car up so the other crewman can change the tires with an air wrench. Another crewman gives the driver something to drink, cleans the grill so the car runs cooler, and cleans the windshield. Not all the action's on the racetrack. Here in pit road, they can change 4 tires and add 22 gallons of gas in under 20 seconds. About as long as it takes for you to tie your shoe. First, you need to know about the track. Most stock car tracks are ovals, with a bank in the turns to keep the car from flying off the track. This track is so steep, I couldn't walk up it without tennis shoes. This is how steep 24 degrees is. This is how steep 24 degrees is. This track surface is asphalt. Some tracks are concrete or brick, but most race drivers start on dirt tracks like this one. Race car driving is really tough. In one afternoon, you can drive over 600 miles. Safety is very important in racing. These guys can be a driver's best friend.
Greg Brown is in third. Quinn Nichols is in fourth.
It's loud out here. Jeff thinks you can hear him. What he said was your parents will drive 55 to 60 miles an hour. Race cars will go up to 200 miles an hour.